All right, good evening, and welcome to the special meeting, May 27, 2025, 6:30 p.m. at the Mercedes City Hall. I now call this meeting to order. Next, I'll establish quorum. Have Commissioner Dr. Howell, have Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Martinez not with us today, and we ask you to keep his dad in his prayers as Commissioner Saldana. We'll also, next I'll have the invocation by Commissioner Martinez, item 3.
Everybody rise, please. Before we go any further, we want to put Commissioner Dr. Saldana's father in prayer. So we may, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord God. We come before you first and foremost as servants of the city. We ask for your wisdom, Lord God. We ask for your direction. We ask, Lord God, that we make sound decisions that would be beneficial to every living soul in this place, Lord. We lift up, Lord God, Dr. Saldana's father, and we pray for healing, Lord God, and restoration of his body, Father. We put him in your hands, Lord. We ask for this wonderful meeting, Lord God. We ask that you bless it. Keep us safe tonight, Lord. This we ask in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Garcia, if you wouldn't mind leading.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, do we have anybody for forum? Open forum? Next, we'll move on to item 6A, presentation, discussion, proposed development by Santa Cruz property.
Good evening. My name is Adriana Sarmiento. I am the CFO and representing Santa Cruz Properties. We're proposing a residential subdivision development in the city of Mercedes, Texas, developed to support the long-term community growth and improvement of the quality of life for local residents. The project includes development featuring approximately 530 residential lots built with infrastructure such as roads, water, sewer, and drainage systems to city standards. Santa Cruz Properties will donate land for the construction of a public park, contributing to recreational space for families and enhance neighborhood appeal. The project will significantly increase the property tax base and generate long-term revenue for the city. It is projected to attract new residents and promote local economic activity. To assist with upfront infrastructure costs, Santa Cruz Properties is seeking support through a tax increment reinvestment zone, also known as TIRZ. This partnership would enable cost-effective development while delivering public improvement that benefits the entire city. We believe this collaboration represents a smart investment in Mercedes' future and respectfully request the Commissioner's support.
So y'all haven't gone to the county yet, right? Just with us so far?
Right.
As you start here.
Yes.
Okay. And what's next? Mr. Bettis, do you know?
So we need to look at what they're proposing on their plan. Of course, we understand you're talking about a number of homes, size of the home, approximate pricing of homes, what that's going to generate on property taxes, the park itself, all those improvements add up. What does that equate to? And then what you're looking for on the incentive or support from the church side. Do you have an approximate for that?
Yes, I do. So the estimated property values that we're looking at would be between $100,000 and $150,000 per home. Projected taxable value is over $15 million once built out. The long-term increment is annual property tax income and additional indirect boost to sales and business tax revenues for the new residents. We would obviously do the infrastructure and the development of the park as a public park. And again, we kind of have done an analysis of how much it would cost over a long term. Mm-hmm. And so what we're looking for is once all the development is complete, we're looking for half of the increment that we spend on the infrastructure. So more or less, a rough estimate between $6 to $7 million.
Okay. Do you have a timetable?
The timetable would be we were going to build out in 4 phases, and it would take about, once the construction starts, about 3 to 4 years to complete.
What, you said the houses were 100 to 150,000?
Yes, about roughly 1,800 square feet. And now it's just an estimated, because obviously the cost of building continues to increase, and so we're just kind of lowballing it, just, for just kind of the meeting.
You're being conservative.
Yes.
Where's the location of it, if I may ask?
Where the subdivision is?
Yes.
It's right behind the outlet mall. It's north of it, slightly north.
Okay.
Oh, okay, all right. Scared. All right, yeah, it's kind of scared me. All right, and the houses are, you're looking at brick homes, right? It's brick
Yes,
homes, okay.
about starting square footage, about 1,800 square feet per home.
Okay, and the lot sizes?
The lot sizes are, yeah, city size lots.
All righty. So it's only on here as a presentation and discussion, so I would imagine that at this point, I don't
Submit the
think there's
formal
anybody against
proposal.
it to come meet with Mr. Perez so that we can start seeing what we could do to help out and start the process of meeting with the county and all that stuff, so.
So we'll go through a validation process when you submit the formal proposal plan. We'll do the validation, then come back and present it for them to approve.
Okay.
I just had a quick question.
Yep, go ahead.
So this would be, is it city zone or it would be?
Yes, it's
county?
city. Inside the city limits.
Okay. And then have you guys, I'm sure you guys done the research as far as home values, what's trending right now, what's selling, what's not moving in the area?
Mhm.
Right now, actually, there is a lot of great development in the city of Mercedes, a lot of great things happening. But the trend right now is a little, believe it or not, homes, because I do real estate as well, and I do some of these analysis, is homes within the 200 up range, believe it or not. Those are the ones that are moving. And what's that subdivision that's moving pretty good?
Hacienda,
So
Olivia.
homes like that, those are moving quicker than let's say other subdivisions that have nice homes as well, but a little bit of more of value, I would say, for families. And so right now the trends kind of market, can't predict the market, but right now the market's more going towards that right now. But so y'all are set on that type of pricing or the type of home, or y'all are just kind of,
No, I mean, we're setting kind of a nice, family size, family style home.
Okay.
And again, also just having that park close by in proximity, just kind of to being able to kind of just at least,
it's like it would be like affordable housing, more or less, are y'all targeting?
It's more like single family type deal, right?
Yeah.
If I may, well, we're targeting Commissioner, Mayor, Commissioners, and City Manager, City Attorney. We're targeting more a community, a real strong, sound development. It's going to be community. If you notice, we've got about 400 lots, and there's some multifamily developments as well. The multifamily developments are being proposed on Mile 1.5, north of Mile 8, okay? And the residential development is on the corner of Mile 1 East and Mile 8 North, okay? And if you notice, right in the middle of the development, there's a proposed park, because we're gonna go real heavy on wellness programs and stuff like that, and create these opportunities for the children within that community. This is very similar to what's happening in Hacienda Olivia. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the kind of homes that are more or less being targeted. Brick veneer homes, restricted homes, right, is going to be a very nice community. You can count on that.
Will there be any like retention ponds or anything like that?
Yes, there
And
will be. As a matter of fact, we'll get together with your engineers and your public works department and city management, and we'll come up with a good plan for detention areas.
Yeah.
We're already targeting the flood areas. We already met with the Drainage District number 1 and have a proposed drainage area developed. I don't know if you can point to it from where you're at, Rolly, but, right, all that.
Shifting the water here to the existing ditch here, and I believe after this Florida rain, you noticed there was some limitations to the drainage system over here. So there's a larger project, the Anaconda project, that the drainage district is doing. Right. So what we thought is, instead of pushing all the water to the north and then back to that choke area where the Loves is, to divert some and take it to that that larger kind of alleviate some of the impacts of the system.
Sure. Well, I
We're-
appreciate you guys
We're
being
very,
proactive
we're
about it.
very aware of that.
Yeah.
We don't want to see any more problems with country terrorists, man. You know, there's some big issues over there around the Loves area, and we're trying to avoid that area.
Yeah.
So we're very conscientious of what's going on.
Thanks.
These are all double garage, two-car garage, what are you talking about?
At this point, once we get a little further, you know, we put the restrictions together. This is where we work together with the city. Right now, for sure, we are looking at least single car garages, possibly double car garages.
And hopefully, I'm assuming next time you guys present, maybe you guys can have like a model home sketch.
That's the
of some
idea.
sort.
Yeah, this is
Just kinda give
strictly
us an
just
idea.
to engage and start the tourist process.
Yeah.
And that we'll know
We
it's
appreciate you all
beneficial to
doing
the
that.
city. And we're not coming in here with a solid ask. We want to work together with the city and make sure it's beneficial. Of course, this is our hometown as well, and we want to make sure that we have a good project going to flourish.
Yes, sir.
Well, we appreciate you coming and not hitting us blindsided like
Yeah,
others have. We
There's
appreciate
a
it.
lot of preparation.
And is ask is all tied to infrastructure? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
That what you're asking for in support from the tourists is all tied to infrastructure?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we know that basically there's a proposed lift station being proposed in the area. You know, that's why we're getting started early.
Sure.
And there may be some issues that I know you're resolving already as well.
Yes.
You know, we can always use the front easements of our property out here to help, to assist with that as well.
Okay.
You know, want to make sure that it works for everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions that we can answer for you?
Right, sounds like a good project. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
sir. Yes.
absolutely.
We'll see you soon.
You can go while there's still light to take that picture. Item 6B, presentation proposed disc golf course, Mercedes Dome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission. For the record, my name is Armando Villela. I'm the Parks Director for the City of Mercedes. Just have a quick presentation for you all on what we're working on over at the Dome for the proposed disc golf course. I know in some of my previous monthly reports, I reported that we were already in the process of working on that, so I just kind of wanted to give you all an update of where we're at. One. Give me 1 second. So on some of the slides, we're just going to kind of discuss a little bit about what, you know, what the layout would be at Dixieland. So I'm sorry, at the Dome. So we did,
I like that.
I'm in another city already. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Presentation over.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the bike trail?
Yes, sir. We're going to shift gears here. Let's go to something else.
They know it's.
Make a motion to table the item.
It's been a long day. I apologize.
So the Dome, you were saying.
Back at the Dome. Yes, so in the plan, right, we're proposing the layout. Right now where we're at is we've already have a design. So we have a gentleman in attendance, Mr. Scott McFarland. He's also going to speak a little bit, a few minutes just about what we're proposing. He did volunteer his time and helped out with coming up with the design for the city of Mercedes. Usually, you know, we would have to contract something like that out. I have worked with Mr. McFarland in the past in my previous city work, and that's probably why my mind was over there. But we have worked together in other disc golf courses, right? So
All we want to know is this going to be better than the other place?
that's the plan, sir. That's the plan. We don't go backwards. We want to move forward. Yes.
All right.
So I have just two small videos for you. They're 2-3 minute videos, and then a few points, and then Mr. McFarland's going to speak a little bit, and we'll get out of your guys' way. Juan, will it start? Okay, then I guess we're going to skip the video for now.
That's okay. We
left it back
can
at the-
follow the screens. We
that's
can
fine.
follow
No,
the screens.
So anyway, we were just going to talk a little bit about what disc golf is, right? So disc golf is basically an alternative to golf. It's considered a more cost-effective outdoor recreational sport. Plays a lot like golf. So you have your tee boxes, you'll have well, in disc golf, it's going to be your feet, right? How many feet out you are. You'll have a par for that course. There is different kinds of discs. They have drivers, they have putters, you know, which each disc is going to actually go a different, you know, distance, right? So like your drivers are a little heavier, they're going to fly a little further. Your putters are a little closer. So I'll let Scott kind of talk a little bit more about that. But this would be the first disc golf course here in Mercedes. I know that they have one in Weslaco. I know Harlingen, Bronzeville, and up in the McAllen area. But disc golf is the sport that has grown ever since the pandemic. So as y'all remember, back in 2020, you know, we were forced, everybody had to go outside, right? Let's go outside. What can we do where we're not in confined spaces, right? So disc golf was one of the things that a lot of cities were going to. Some of the upside of building this course here in Mercedes, right, is that we're centralized here in the valley, so we can host tournaments. We would bring players. We have players currently that travel from McAllen, the Upper Valley, all the way down to Harlingen and Bronzeville to go use those courses. So we would be centrally located here. They would come and visit Mercedes. At the same time, you know, we can host tournaments. We can bring them to the Dome to visit our parks. And at the same time, obviously, they would visit our restaurants, our stores, the outlets and stuff like that. We'd also be able to use it we'd have sponsorship possibilities, right? So one of the things that was going to be in that was that we would go out for sponsorships if they wanted to sponsor a hole to kind of offset some of the costs from the construction that we're going to be doing, right? So like at golf courses, you may see a hole marker. They may have a sponsor on that hole marker, right? So X business sponsored this hole, and we're going to be trying to do the same for all 18 holes so that we can recoup some of that cost. So this is the layout right now of the Dome as it stands, right? So when I sent this to Mr. McFarland, I highlighted the areas. We do have plans in the future to develop some more sports fields here. So I did send him a aerial with highlighted areas where I asked, you know, that we stay clear of, because we have teams that are out there practicing, teams that are out there, you know, kids that are out there playing. And then, like I said, we do plan to develop that. So I sent him this, and this is what we came back with. So as you can see, it's going to kind of play like a golf course. The hole one would be here on the southeast side, right by the Mercedes Dome, heading north. And then you would kind of just follow the track, right? So basically the object of the game is to get your disc into the basket, just like in golf. We would also use this to start rec programs. I've already spoken to Maureen over at the Dome. He's very interested in, you know, we can start our own programs to kind of get the awareness out there. Hey, we got this course. It's available to you all. It's free. There's no fee to come out and play. The only fee would be is you provide your own Frisbees, right? So your own discs. These are just some images of what we're currently working on. So the baskets here on the left bottom corner, that's what the baskets would look like, right? So that's what your target points are. Your tee boxes would be the center on the bottom. So tee boxes can be as simple as just paints on the grass, marking, letting you know which area you're going to throw your discs in. Obviously, we do plan to get a little more, you know, sophisticated with it. We want to build some cement tee pads, adding signage, letting them know, hey, you know what, this is your yardage. This is the area that you have to throw your disc in. We would add QR codes to these signs to where you can actually scan the QR code. The course layout would come up, so that way if you've never played there before, the minute you get to hole one, you would scan that. It would tell you, hey, this is how you go, and at the same time, we can include the rules of the game. Some of the other signage, I'm sorry, Juan, you can go back. Some of the other stuff that we plan to put out, right? The sponsorship signs, and then obviously, since we do have activities going on out there, we do have people walking on the trail. We want to make sure that, you know, the players are safe when they're playing around the walkers, and vice versa, that the walkers are keeping an eye out for these discs that may be flying around while they're out there walking, right? So tentative would be like the top left corner, what the hole markers would look like. So it would be just basically a little map of how that hole plays, how many throws would be par, where you're playing from, what your yardage or your feet is, you know, distance wise. But other than that, that's pretty much where we're at. The video was just going to kind of highlight a little more about how the game is played. But I think this would be something really good for Mercedes. We wouldn't, it'd be the first one here in Mercedes, but with this, we can also host other events. We can do glow in the dark disc golf at night. We can, you know, any kind of events just to get the kids out there. get them outside playing, being a little more active. And then as we start to kind of show them, hey, this is how this game is played. This is out here for you. It's available for you. Hopefully we'll get, more users out to the park. So Mr. McFarland's gonna just give you guys a quick little rundown of what he's kind of helped us out with. And then if y'all have any questions for us.
All right, how are you doing? As you heard, my name is Scott McFarland. I've been playing disc golf since 2008. I own the Valley Disc Golf Store in McAllen, Texas. We've had the store now for 5 years. We travel a lot around Texas, playing. We go up to Corpus, San Antonio, Austin, Waco, on any given day for this sport. The people that play this sport love to travel for it. So one of the things that I would like to touch base on real quick is one of the ways that people are going to be finding this course. There's an app that you get on the phone, and it's free, of course, for the first, I think it's 3 months, but it's called UDisc, like University Disc. The UDisc actually lists all the courses in the area. It lists the courses, it lists where to find discs, so it lists my store on there. And when people are traveling down here, like you have a lot of, say, our Winter Texans and family of Winter Texans, they actually come down here. And since all over the United States and actually all over the world, even there's courses in Mexico out by Monterrey and different areas there. So people are looking on this, and this is where they're going to be hitting. So you don't even have to tell people where it's at, because it's going to give directions. In fact, when the course is complete, we're going to go out there and we're going to go ahead and mark it off. So it actually has a GPS way to be, following your way around the course. That's one of the things that it offers. The other thing that it offers is, for tournaments that we would like to host events. I host events in Weslaco with the mayor. I've had now 2. We have a New Year's Day one. First year we had 26 people. This year we had 52 people. So it's continuing growing the community in the area. And because of apps, like I said, like UDisc, and for the fact that we host tournaments in the area, it grows really quick. And the opportunity for it is that it's not an expensive sport to actually, put in as, say, a basketball court or even pickleball court. Some of these things run you like in the thousands, like high thousands. To where this area, it's actually played on a kind of rough terrain a lot of times. It could be played on the open. It could be played in the woods. We designed, through our store, we designed 2 for the city of Edinburgh that are completely different. One of them is a short 9-hole. It's pretty open, it does have a little bit of trees. And then the other one is a linear park that is the most popular park right now in Edinburgh. And it's a small little spot, but we have a lot of different people that travel and love those areas. Plus the people that come by here, as I said, we're listed on UDisc. So whenever people either Google up disc golf in the area, they look for the Valley Disc Golf Store. So they come to us and we tell them where to go. We're like, hey, how much time do you have? The course that I designed, it's 18 holes. The flow is pretty easy to follow. People aren't going to get lost on it. Right now it's out in the open. However, if you put in some native trees, some of these nice colorful trees, because it is a dome and you're actually sitting up a little high, when they pull up to this, and hole 1, as you've seen, is right off the side of that, right on those tree lines, you're going to be looking out over the course. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to be coming to the area. The fact that it's an 18 hole and the holes aren't going to be too long, it's going to be appealing towards the people that only have, like, say, 2 hours to play around. And this could be played by themselves, or it could be played with a group. In fact, right now, right before we came out here, I was throwing with a couple of friends. Actually, throwing even in this kind of heat. We play in the morning, or there's a group from Harlingen right now over there at our course in Weslaco, because it's a smaller course. They could get through in an hour and a half, but this is going to be so accessible right here, right at the dome. And then on top of that, the name of it, though, the Dome Disc Golf Course, it just sits right. There's actually a disc, and it's named the Dome. It's named after the Astrodome because it's a Texas-based disc golf company. Myself and my son over here, we're actually sponsored by Lone Star Disc, which is out of Houston, Texas. So the marketing and the ability for people to just like be drawn to it is big. And the fact that it is Mid-Valley, we have a lot of people that come to Weslaco, and ours is a small little park, Isaac Rodriguez Park, if you haven't been to it. So this is going to be kind of like that. And you have the walking trails, right? And I saw the sign, caution flying disc. Well, the community, and one of the things that's known is to, kind of keep track of, people throwing. Of course, wins will carry wins, will carry discs, but for the most part, it's a very safe sport in that sense, not a lot of injuries. And it could be played from young to old. I played with a gentleman who's 74 years old. He plays just about every day. His doctor said that's one of the best things for him. Play with another man who's a retiree who actually had a stroke. And little bit by little bit, now he comes out there with his card, and he was throwing just a little bit, and then he's throwing more and more. Now, a year and a half later, he's actually now going again, the whole 9 holes. He doesn't do 18, but it's still great exercise. You get your steps in, you get your, a little bit of dynamic movement as you're throwing the disc, and you get to see this awesome thing take flight around. If you put trees are great. If you put it around a fence is good. It's just so many options, and I honestly, I gotta be honest with you, there's even other places here in Mercedes that would be prime for a disc golf course. We're actually going to Emporia, Kansas, this summer. My son's competing in Junior Worlds for the 4th time already. The last year there were people from 19 different countries, that were over here in Tulsa, Oklahoma is where we went. Big city, yeah. Emporia, Kansas is a tiny city. It's probably, if you look at it, it's probably smaller than Mercedes. And yet there's so many disc golf courses because they're so inexpensive. They actually hold worlds there. And this is the 2nd time we go in 4 years. And you're talking about people from different countries coming out here, plus the family. I mean, the ability to kind of sell out every room that's out in this area is possible with the simple little investments into that. Right now, none of the Valley cities have. I mean, Edinburgh, we did 2. We designed 2 for them, and they came in real quick, and real quick they started being played. McAllen has 2, Harlingen has 1, Elsa has 1 that didn't completely get finished, so it's not as, appealing, but people still play there. Brownsville has 1 that's 21 holes, so all people from all around the area will come down here, and we travel. We go to Harlingen, we go to Brownsville, we go to McAllen, you name it, they're going to be coming. And Mid-Valley, it's going to be perfect for it. I don't know if there's any questions that.
I do, Mayor. I have a question, but it's more for Armando, if I may. So, I like the idea. It presents something different and it's an alternative. But I want to make sure one thing's clear before we start doing everything, that we've outlined the plans for that area. I don't want to overlook the bigger picture in what we've been discussing in youth sports. I think it's a great addition to that area, but I think before we start stamping anything, we better have a plan in place on what we develop. Now, I've seen multiple plans already as far as the fields and things that we're going to do, the ideas that we have. Remember, I mean, youth sports is still the biggest driver here in Mercedes. I'm talking baseball, softball, football. That's still the main thing. But I think that something different is a good thing. I just want to make sure that before we start putting anything out there, we know what we're going to utilize these fields on. That's number one. Number two, I want to touch something that you said that I thought was important. I'm glad Jonathan's here because I know Maureen isn't. And that is that in order for this thing to succeed, I think that we need to introduce it at the level of the recreation center. I think if the kids start playing it, they're going to drag mom and dad out there to start playing it, and they're going to start utilizing it in that way. I just want to make sure that we're good with that, that before we go anywhere, that we know what we're going to use. Because like I said, we've seen about 3-4 different plans as far as what fields we're going to use, baseball, softball, football, things like that. So I just want to make sure that we got it outlined before we start building anything out there.
Yes, sir. So to answer your first question on that point, is the good thing about this with the disc golf, right, is that it's very easy to maneuver the course if we need to. So the baskets are really just going to be a sleeve in the ground and the basket goes in with a pin. So as we start, the idea would be that as we go, right, as we grow the complex and we're building, we will reconfigure some of these baskets. We're putting them in areas where I don't foresee that there would be an issue as we start to develop. If there were any issues, I think we're looking at around maybe 5 to 10 years down the line with some of these baskets. But the good thing is that they're very easy to relocate, right? It would be just a matter of pulling the footing, relocating the basket. You can keep your pads in the same areas, but we're definitely taking that into consideration is, using the layout of some of the stuff that has been proposed for the dome.
And I'm only saying, Mondo, because I've seen like the latest plan about the fields and the softball, the baseball, and I'm just trying to figure where this is all going to fit in. because then you also have stands, you have people, you have concession, people are walking, so you kind of have to go around it. So I think, I just want to make sure that we have a plan overall, what we're going to develop there, so we know how each thing fits, whether it's disc golf or anything else. So we just know, because I'd hate for us to go and do something, then have to
Tear
go
it out.
retract, and then we're wasting more time and resources doing that.
No, I agree.
So I just want to make sure that we have that plan in place. But I think it's a heck of an idea, but we definitely got to get the rec center involved. So that way the kids learn how to play, because I'm telling you, the kids play, mom and dad are going to play, they're going to be out there on the weekend, and it's going to take off that way. So
Yes, sir.
I'm all for it.
So, Mando, I think it's a great idea. I'm with Joe on that, with Commissioner Martinez. But you only get one chance at first impressions. And the problem I have is that we're promoting the dome, and we've got people going out there and they're going walking, but at the end of the day, we don't have any parking out there. So we can bring in 200 disc golfers. They're going to be parking in the grass. First time they come out after it rained 2 days before and it's muddy, they're not going to come back because they're going to see it as a problem, right? So I think that something affordable, I mean, it doesn't have to be, all out blacktop or anything, just even a real well done based,
Like a
well,
caliche, sub-based,
caliche
yeah.
parking where people can park there would be, to me, fine. I think, I'm just taking a shot, but I would say you need at least another 50, 75, 50, 100 parking spaces so that the people that are practicing there, the Civic Center, the HEB Park is a fantastic concept when they did it. But as they added tennis courts back then, but as they added tennis courts and basketball courts and a pavilion, they never took into account that maybe all three were being used at one time. So there's only enough parking for one or of the three.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that here. So I think this is a great idea, but I think part of this project would be parking.
Okay.
A real designated parking. I think we need to block off, because there's still people, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
that are driving up on there that shouldn't. And, they call and complain. They only called me once and I didn't listen to it because, I mean, who in the hell lets you drive onto their grass? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we need to protect that. So I think if we designate a parking, block it off with cheap posts and a wire, and entrances where they can walk, a bunch of them, not just one entrance, but several of them, just where they don't drive the car in. I think that would be the best thing for it. I'm sure Albert is chomping at the bits to spend money, but on this thing.
Got
but,
it, sir.
there you go. But
No,
I
we'll-
think if, again, in closing, I really think we need a parking lot before we start inviting people over.
But I think that's where the
Instead of
planning
parking in the
comes in.
dirt.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's where the
and-
planning comes in, like making sure those kind of things are, because you're right. I mean, at this point, where would they park? I mean, we have parents that park out there in the practice, and it's like a free for all, So where would all these people that would come to the Mid Valley, where would they park? What would we do? Are we prepared for that? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to do a tournament with no place to park. I guess what I'm
No,
trying
yeah,
to say.
I
you know,
agree.
so-
Yeah,
All
so
right,
we'll look at
anybody
that,
else?
sir. And we're going after other alternatives as far as fundings. We're going to be going after grants and stuff like that. So definitely that'll be something that we're going to have included in whatever kind of
Perfect.
funding that we go after.
Perfect. Anybody else got anything? Thank you. Thank you both.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
presentation. Hey, how many, do y'all sell a lot of discs? You do?
I mean, one of the other things I didn't even touch base into the business part of it, but I actually do plan to put, because I've been asked a lot to put a location closer to, we live in Westaco, so, but we have our store because we've had it there. It was opened in 2018 by a friend of mine. His son would run it. He went off to college, so he sold it to me, and I've had it ever since, and we've kept it there. Now, disc golf in itself has grown, so much over the years, from the players to the discs. Now there's so many different companies producing. We do sell a lot of discs because we are a pro shop of disc golf stores, because you can find them at
Perfect.
Walmart or you can find them at other places. But we do training. We actually we volunteer at schools. In fact, one of the first schools that I was at was Sergeant Harrell Middle School here in Mercedes. They actually bought 9 baskets, and they bought I think it was 20 sets of starter discs, and I had the kids there. This was right before, this was but right before COVID. This was 2020, when this started, and it was at the beginning of the year, and they were loving it. When this kid started taking to it, you'd find the athletes, and it was you'd be surprised. Some they're like, I don't play sports, and you pick it up, and next thing you know, it's easy to throw. So anyway, we had a lot of interest in it, and then it kind of stopped from there. But I've still run into some of the kids now. They're a little bit older than this one. He actually was at 10 years old, was volunteering with me over there. He's now going to be 15 years old. As I said, this is his 4th time going to Junior Worlds. So he represents the Valley in that area. Last year we actually had, and one of the things we wanted to show you today. We had an interview with the PDGA, which is the PGA, but of disc golf, the PDGA. And he was interviewed last year for there, and he mentions the Valley and mentions, we're coming out of here. And it's really surprising, when we go over there, because we meet with people from all over. And they ask us where we're from, and we're like, yeah, Texas, go all the way to the bottom. That's go till you can't go anymore. That's where we're at, and people are surprised. They're like, I didn't even know people played, down here. So this is something still new to the area, but it's still something that's growing. We get people starting all the time. Why? Because it's easy. It's something easy. The colleges they give scholarships. Texas A&M, Texas UT, all these people, they have disc golf teams, so they can actually get scholarships out of this. I heard mentioning, as far as teams, I completely agree. That's actually where a lot of the growth comes in. So we've actually been, we even met with, I think it was the director over here at the Dome, and speaking about match play. So match play is teams. It's disc golfing in teams. And it's also easier because you can do it in 9 holes instead of 18 holes. You can do it, with a good amount of people, or you could do it with a small amount. And it plays quick. It's a lot quicker. It's plays similar to match play in golf. Put it that way if you know how that goes. But that would be teams, and that is team involvement. And that's actually what we're looking for the future, because in college that's what they play is match play. They don't play your regular disc golf like we play out here. But yeah,
Thank you for that, sir. Appreciate it.
thank you very much.
All right, next, we have 6C, presentation by RGV Coalition of Drainage Advocates.
All right, so Mayor, Commissioners, I've asked for this item to be placed on the agenda. Recently, we had some flooding in our area that caused a lot of flooding to different areas of Mercedes. And I had signed on to this petition for the call of a drainage flood district here in the Rio Grande Valley. I've been in talks with Mr. Garcia and his wife about what they're trying to do. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to petition the state to create an entity that would form a flood control district. I think the city of Houston has one currently. And we'd like one to be at least one here in the valley that would take care of the flooding all the way from Hidalgo all the way down to Cameron and Willacy County as well. Today we had a lot of presentations. We have more houses going up. Every city seeing growth everywhere. More businesses, more homes. But as we continue to trade concrete or dirt for concrete, we're becoming more and more kind of in the hole, so to speak. We're digging ourselves in a hole. And so we want to find some form of solution. And I've invited them out here to speak to you guys about what our goal is and what we hope to accomplish.
Yes, thank you so much for that introduction, Commissioner. Thank you, Mayor Montoya and the rest of the commissioners for having us here today. My name is Jessica Garcia. I'm not sure if this is on, but you can hear me, right? I have a loud voice. My name is Jessica Garcia. I'm here with my husband, JV Garcia. He's a civil engineer. We have founded this organization called the Rio Grande Valley Coalition of Drainage Advocates, or RGV CODA. And I'll tell you a little bit about who we are and then kind of why we're here before you guys today. We are a citizen advocacy group. We are a bunch of flood victims. When we have meetings, it is regular Joes, everyday people who've been flooded repeatedly. We started our group in the Harlingen area. That's where we live. And even though we live in Harlingen, we do come to Mercedes. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and we spend a ton of money here at the outlet mall. And just like it's not just a city problem in our city, we've started to notice this is a regional problem. So now we have members from all over the Rio Grande Valley within our group. Our mission statement is to educate, engage, and advocate for adequate drainage to reduce flooding with a focus addressing on issues related to flood mitigation. We are again comprised of repeated flood victims, business owners from across RGV, as well as scientists and experts in fields that are pertinent to our cause. We are working towards filing currently a 501c4, just in full transparency, to become a nonprofit, but we are not one yet. We're just at this time a group of volunteers. So while we are a citizen group of volunteers, we do have scientists backing us up and behind us, and this is where we get our information from. These are just some that we lean on heavily. Mr. Jaime Flores, he is a professional geologist, and he's the co-author of the Arroyo Colorado Watershed Protection Plan, which I'll reference heavily in this presentation, as you'll see. We also have Juan V. Garcia. He's a civil engineer and the former Region 9 director for the Texas Floodplain Managers Association. We have Gerald Garrett. He is a master's degree in agricultural, environmental, and environmental sciences. Gregory Scott Kunkel. He's certified through Texas A&M University on watershed management. Peter Rettenhaber. I'm sorry, as I get older, my eyes are worse. Peter Rettenhaber, he's an electrical engineer. And then we also have Minerva Simpson, who's a licensed residential mortgage loan officer. So she's kind of our housing market analyst and talking to us about how flooding is impacting housing markets. So why is flood mitigation so important? I'm sure you guys have heard these things. We in the Lower Valley have heard this a lot. We live in an area that's flat. We can't do anything about it. This was a freak storm. This was a 100-year storm. It'll never happen again. Things like that. But the truth of the matter is the U.S. flooding risks in 2020 and 2050, as you can see on the left-hand side, it is 2020. Events per year, flooding events per year, we were already in the high dark blue along the coast here in Texas. And as we move to 2050, it just keeps getting darker. So 5 to 10 events per year are expected in these areas. And what does that mean as far as dollars and putting the money symbol to that? The average annual loss from all types of flooding in 2020, you could see Cameron County is already on the higher end towards the $20 million. Hidalgo County is a little bit less, more in the 10, but as we see from 2020 to 2050, that percent of change, it is definitely expected to increase as well. So RGV CODA has laid out some Texas legislative initiatives for the 89th and the 90th legislative sessions, again, advocating for the prioritization of RGV and disbursement of the flood infrastructure funds. I'm sure you guys are familiar with those, the flood infrastructure funds. We really are heavily advocating for usage of those funds here in the RGV, providing educational opportunities to the public, dispersing information related to flood infrastructure legislation, both existing and upcoming, connecting congressional leaders with experts and scientists across the RGV with firsthand knowledge of our problems down here in this area. And the one that we're here to talk to you about today is promoting the creation of an RGV flood control district. So the RGV flood control district is what we call a watershed approach to flooding. What we're proposing or what we're advocating for is an entity that can prioritize funding and construction of flood mitigation. It would use a geographic focus based on hydrology and watersheds rather than political boundaries. And I'm going to show you guys a bunch of maps coming up, and you'll see exactly how it's being managed right now and what our proposal actually is. The RGV Flood Control District could encompass the existing watersheds, and I've listed just a few there. We have many more. And it would be comprised of watersheds that span the 3 counties, Hidalgo, Cameron, and Willacy County. It would consolidate and expand existing drainage districts with input from respective county leaders, municipalities, and port authorities, and collaboration with all municipal water supply systems to assist with water conservation efforts as well. So how do watersheds work? These graphics are just in simple terms. We can look at them as in the valley term, or you can look at them as within your city. So the one on the left is within your city. Your water is taken from your storm drain to the main floodway out to the Arroyo Colorado, the Laguna Madre, or the Gulf of Mexico. And if we look at the right-hand side, if we look at a drop of rain that fell in Mission, how is it making its way all the way down? And where is Mercedes on this hypothetical picture here, right? And so the key is every part of this has to be working for the water to move on. So if we look at the faucets, if one faucet is clogged, water is not going anywhere. And that's where we're seeing the flooding occur. So when we look at our watershed maps, like I said, I'm going to show you a bunch of maps, but the biggest thing that I want to highlight for you is how vast these watersheds are, how many counties they span, and how many entities have their hands in these watersheds. So we have these are the North and Central watershed districts. You guys don't have it on your computer right here, do you?
No.
I'll email it directly to you guys as soon as we're done, because it gets, right to really look up close to it and see how many watersheds are within that area, as well as our valley main drain systems on the right-hand side, you'll see. So if we could see where Cameron County is, and then Mercedes down there as well, you've got a main drain kind of running right through you guys. The other major watershed that's been heavily studied down here is the Arroyo Colorado watershed, which runs directly through Mercedes as well. And you also share that one heavily with Cameron County. And there is these little dots that are on here. When you see the map up close, you'll be able to see these are actually permitted outfalls. So entities that are allowed to outfall into the Arroyo Colorado watershed. And so that is also, as you'll see where you guys are located, you've got a bunch of people dumping into that Arroyo Colorado way up the line from you. And then that water needs to move down through you. So for the North and Central watershed districts, those drainage districts, again, just to illustrate, this is how many entities have jurisdiction in those watersheds. So coordination can be an absolute nightmare. We've heard this from municipalities over and over again. We're making a call over here to this person and they're saying, well, that's not ours, call this person. We call this person and they go, that's not ours, call that person. And then you say, okay, well, I call that person, well, that's not ours, that's the city's. Well, I'm the city calling you. So, it's not ours. We're trying to get answers, and there's just so many entities that have their hands in these. It's hard to decipher who do we call. So that was for the North and Central watersheds. Here's the Arroyo Colorado watershed, which you'll see in Cameron County area, and I pull up another map in a little bit. We have, in Hidalgo County, you guys have your one drainage district. In Cameron County, we have 6 drainage districts, and they don't even cover the full area. So you'll see that as I get closer and how that can impact directly Mercedes. So the Hidalgo County and Mercedes impacts, you'll see outlined in yellow is your Hidalgo drainage district. And again, outlined in yellow, and as you can see, it does not cover the full Hidalgo County. And there is, again, just a closer look there. In Cameron County, that's where I was saying we have the 6 drainage districts. They do not cover all of Cameron County. The white areas in Cameron County are covered by what they called the Cameron County Drainage District. Unfortunately, it's an untaxed and unfunded entity, so there is no drainage district protection there. So one of the key highlights I wanted to show you again on this map, we have the Hidalgo Drainage District, and as you could see, Mercedes sits right on that border with Cameron County. And even if you guys are doing your job efficiently and pushing that water down the Arroyo Colorado watershed, as we saw with those faucets, the one faucet that's turned off, if Cameron County is not doing their job, everything is getting backed up into Hidalgo County, and particular into Mercedes, because we share a border with you guys. So that is how it can definitely impact the city of Mercedes heavily. Benefits of a watershed approach, we can address root causes. So instead of every entity for themselves, one of the great things that just happened in Cameron County, Drainage District 6 just got $40 million through the state legislature in bonds, and everyone is cheering for it, and that is wonderful for those people of the Teocano Lake, Santa Rosa area. They need it badly. But that is one boundary that does not cover the rest of Cameron County. So they may fix their problems and move the water along, but where is it moving from there? And does the next entity have the money to continue to push it forward? So if we have an overall RGV flood control district, we can address those root causes. Look at where our primary issues are and start to address it in that manner. We can reduce flood risk, saving money, protecting life and property, leveraging funding for the entire region. I think that is probably one of our biggest pros as well, is it's not all these little drainage districts for themselves. I mean, when we look at $40 million for that drainage district, that's wonderful. For the Rio Grande Valley, that's nothing, right? But if we could leverage that money as a whole, as 3 counties, as one RGV flood control district, how much more money could we get? Assessing risk across multiple communities, proposing solutions for larger areas, planning at the regional level in conjunction with the RGV MPO, IBWC, and TxDOT, and reducing layers of bureaucracy. So again, when we're dealing with flooding issues, or even prior, who are we going to call? We have the one entity, we know who to call. So as much as we like to think we are geniuses and we came up with this idea all on our own, we did not. This already exists. We have the Harris County Flood Control District. So this one is a little bit unique because it does only cover 1 county. So we would be a little bit different in that we would span 3 counties. But here's how this is also maybe an exception here. Harris County is a coastal county. They manage 23 watersheds just within that area. So in Hidalgo County, and where Mercedes currently sits, you are not the coastal county, right? Cameron County and Hidalgo County are our coastal counties here in this area.
Willacy.
What's that?
Willacy. Cameron and
Willacy. Oh, what did I say? Did I say Hidalgo again? Oh, I'm thinking about you guys. Yes, Willacy. So including you in this RGV flood control district ensures that we are also making sure the water moves out and goes all the way out the coast. So the Harris Flood Control District is similar to us too. It's relatively located in relatively flat land with high rainfalls, right? They're a coastal county. They have the risk of hurricanes. It operates within the boundaries of 23 primary watershed. That county flood control district employs about 350 people just on its own. Imagine how many jobs could be created when we span 3 counties with one RGV flood control district. The great thing about the Harris Flood Control District as well is it implements buyout programs for repeatedly hit areas. We've got a lot of those areas in the valley where it was built in a lake. There's literally an area in Cameron County called Theocano Lake, and people live in this, and it used to be a lake. And so those houses are repeatedly flooded over and over again. If you have, yeah, even from the recent rains, they still have standing water. So if you have an organization like this, they could obtain federal monies to implement home buyouts. They also maintain drainage infrastructure by addressing erosion and clearing debris. And they utilize regional stormwater detention basins, and combined, all of their detention basins hold billions of gallons of water. So some municipality support that we've already gained within the region, the city of San Benito has passed a resolution in support of our efforts, as well as the city of Harlingen. Cameron County, the office of Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino, they have also issued that they are looking to do more regional plans, and he put out a statement saying that this is a crucial step forward in addressing our region's drainage infrastructure, and that a multi-jurisdictional approach is essential. So we are gaining some great traction down in Cameron County, and we're looking to move up into the Hidalgo County area, presenting to you guys. At the state level, we have had meetings with Senator Adam Hinojosa's office. He is definitely on board with helping us to solve this flood crisis down here in the valley. So that was a great reception. And in our conversations with his office, that's where we asked. We are everyday citizens. We don't sit on a board. We don't sit in power right now. What can we do as citizens? And what has been posed to us from his office is to garner support. So we are doing a 2-prong approach. We are fostering community support We've started an online petition, and we're also going out into the community to discuss these things with the community and get them to sign a physical petition so that we can show there's community support for this. And then the other approach is to gain local government support. So that's why we're here today. As I mentioned before, we have 2 municipalities that have already signed on to this. We're in talks with many more. And that's why we're here before the city of Mercedes today to ask if you guys would be willing to do this. Just a resolution, some key points that would have a really high impact, but a low legal commitment. I don't want the city of Mercedes to put themselves in a situation where you can't get out of it. You're legally bound to anything. That's not what we're asking for right now. All we're asking for, something as simple as we support the idea, the concept, the exploration of a regional RGB flood control district to address the flood crisis through a regional watershed approach using natural geographic boundaries. You can include language in there of that this is something we'll explore maybe as a potential framework. You can include language that says that you have the right to withdraw your support at any time. You can also include in there language where you recognize there is a regional need for this overall. So that is what we're asking for. I know you don't have a resolution to vote on today. So in the future, if you guys could create one, we would love to be in attendance again. And if you have any further questions, we thank you guys so much for having us today. I've got my technical support guy here. We've got some other, I can answer a lot of questions, so.
The Senator Hinojosa has also offered their assistance when you begin writing this resolution. If you'd like to ask them any questions, the mayor of Harlingen reached out before they approved their resolution to get any kind of clarification. So they're also open door policy as well as to review that resolution.
And both of those cities did, of course, as you know, went through their city attorney before they presented anything, and the city attorney signed off on those, so.
I'll just make a quick comment, Mayor, Honorable Commission. I appreciate my colleague, Commissioner Martinez, for bringing this to our attention. Obviously, we spoke before as well. I think this is a great concept. It's all about collaboration with using other entities, coming together to solve some solutions or come up with some solutions to solve a big issue that's going on. I personally have already, like I mentioned, you could even check, I've signed the petition. I think it was great. I've looked online. I think you guys represent a lot of people that in the area that struggle. This whole area is struggling with this, and we need to find solutions. And I think this is a great concept, me personally. So thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner.
If I can just end real quick, Mayor, before you guys take over, I just wanted to just say that, first of all, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys coming over here. And I want everybody to know out there in the public that basically what this is just a battle cry, if you will, or just a call for action. And we're not saying that this is the overall end all, but one thing is certain moving forward is we have to have some form of regional idea or regional, I guess you would say, how would I put it? Just a regional project that works for everybody, man. You know, you have to have regional cooperation. There you go.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it is a little complicated in the sense that you have Hidalgo, you have Cameron, you have Willacy County, and everybody is affected in one way, shape, or form. So what we're asking for here is whether it's this group or something, but we are asking for everybody to come together. So every city that passes this resolution, mind you, I think is just our way of saying, hey, we're not going to get this thing done individually, right? To your point, we can do all the projects we want in Mercedes, but if Harlingen is not prepared, then that water backs up. If we do our part, but let's say, you know, La Feria doesn't, then it backs up. And it goes the same for everybody else. If
Or
we're not,
Westico or Donna.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
prepared, then they're affected. So eventually we have to get together on board and start thinking as a region. You know, I was reading about one of our state reps projects to bring a rail, a commuter rail. That's a regional project. So the idea of a regional project is not something that we haven't thought about, but we need to start considering and thinking of this area as a region. We're no longer just one city or one county. We're multiple cities, multiple counties. We have to work to relieve this issue because, again, as we continue to develop and we continue to trade dirt for concrete, we're only digging ourselves in a bigger hole. And whether you want to believe in whatever the, scientists say, these storms are becoming more and more increasingly heavy. And rain is falling now more than ever. So we have to get ahead of the curve. So I just want to thank you all for being out here.
Yeah, I'll add something to your point as well, because I didn't mention this as much in this presentation as when I've given it before, but we recently went to a meeting in the city of Harlingen with 2 drainage districts in Cameron County, Drainage District 6 and Drainage District 5. Both of those drainage districts stated they are underfunded and understaffed. So this is a regional problem where the funding is not enough to complete these projects and push that water along. And so that is where we're running into these issues of they're working within this man-made boundary alone. We're keeping our area safe and the water's moving. As Dr. Commissioner Howell just mentioned too, you've got cities around you that may not be doing their part as well, or they may be having issues, and then it's just the water is stagnant. So.
Good. All right, thank you.
That's it.
Thank
Yes,
you so much
thank
for
you
coming
guys
out.
so much for your time today. Thank you for keeping drainage as a priority in your community. I know it affects all of us. So thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Ms.
much.
Garcia.
Be available to work with the city attorney or anybody if they want to, see copies of the resolutions that have been passed. So that way we can hopefully, get the same thing here for Mercedes to make a statement for the people.
Thank you, sir.
And like I
Appreciate
said, I'll email you the presentation directly to you guys so y'all can look at it a little bit longer and kind of zoom in on those maps
That'd
and,
be
and
great.
really see it.
Real quick, do y'all have like a draft that maybe you guys can present to our city attorney and city manager so they can just look at something along the way here?
Yeah, so I included them in our presentation. Again, kind of you'll have to zoom into them. I
that
have
way-
them in email and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
that way you
absolutely
can
email
that
them to
way
them.
They can
Yep.
overlook it, maybe. Okay, no problem.
And on all that email, we will copy the senator's staff, who's
Yeah,
the
they
experts on
volunteered.
laws-
If you
on
need some
resolutions
help
as well.
clarifying language or, anything you need,
We'll
they're
copy them
willing
on
to
that email as
help.
well. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a blessed day. Moving on to consent agenda. I have 7A, B, C, and D.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, item 7A, B, C, D, and E.
A second
And can we forego the
Forego
reading.
the
the
reading?
second and final reading.
I have a motion by Commissioner Garcia. I have a second by Commissioner Howell. You including the change he made?
Yes, include the
Okay, all those-
verbiage that he
All
made.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8, management item, present, discuss, consider possible take action regarding, I guess it's, most of them for the city of Mercedes. I'll just read them out, see if y'all want to take them all at once or you want to separate them. A, adoption Mercedes Police Department Policy 303, hiring procedures. 321, personnel files. Again, Mercedes PD 6.20, missing person. Adoption of Mercedes Police Department misconduct of allegations. Adoption of Mercedes Police Department Policy 1901, use of force. Approval to accept voluntary annexation petition file. Well, okay, I guess we can do item A through F. Are y'all willing to?
Yes.
I'm sorry, A through E.
I just have a recommendation on some of these policies, so I'm
Okay.
recommending approval subject to legal review, and I'll have them this week.
That motion.
Was that your motion, Commissioner Howell, Doc?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I have a motion by
Yeah,
Commissioner Howell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia.
I
All
went
in favor,
offline
say aye.
here.
I'm sorry, sir.
No, I had went offline, so, but yes.
Okay, all right. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item 8F, approval to accept the voluntary annexation petition filed by Arturo Palacios Medina.
Mayor and
Sure what
Commissioner,
that's at.
so you want to talk about your
wanna say a
property?
couple of
It's on
words, sir?
Business 83.
Unas palabras? You want to help him out, sir? Break out the inglesazo.
No hablo inglés, hablo puro español. Bueno, pues buenas tardes, buenas noches. Agradecerles aquí por medio de Sammy Longoria la oportunidad que me están dando. Somos una empresa mexicana que está invirtiendo aquí en Mercedes y pues estamos aquí a esperar a que nos den todas las condiciones para poder extendernos
como estamos allá en México, ¿verdad? Con la empresa.
¿Dónde están ubicados?
Es aquí en Capispayo.
East Business 83.
East Business 83?
Lote 7, Block 41, Capispayo District.
Over by
subdivisión.
your place, or is
Yes, it's down Business 83.
it down Business 83?
A bit closer to him annexing too, right?
Almost.
You got a bunch of equipment there we can
Yeah,
tack.
yeah. A ver
right,
si lo convence él también.
All right, ¿qué clase de empresa es?
Es fábrica de paletas de madera
Oh, okay,
en
good.
México.
¿Y qué tantos empleados? Nomás de curiosidad.
Allá tenemos alrededor de 40 y aquí quisiéramos empezar pues con 5, 10 empleados los que,
Okay,
primeramente Dios.
okay, gracias, gracias. Do you have a motion or one way or another?
Make a motion to approve the voluntary annexation petition filed by Mr. Palacios Medina.
And I
second.
apologize, did you all recommending this? Okay, I'm sorry. So I have a motion by Dr. Howe,
I'll
second
second.
by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Moving on to item, gracias, Mr. Palacios. ¿eh?
Gracias, don
Buena
Manuel.
suerte.
Sí, gracias.
Approval of request by Mercedes Basketfuls, Inc. for FY 2024-2025.
Mayor, Commission, good evening.
That's
I'm here as the president of Baskets Full to petition this council for our yearly stipend that you normally give us. We're kind of torn because we need the money, but then I'm also wondering if we're going to be here by the end of the year. But this year, we have 500 active applications. Of that, about 69% show up each month. A lot of those active applications are people who have moved, people that have passed, and some that are on like between jobs and come twice and then never come again. And so we cycle through those on an annual basis. But between 7 months of October 24th to April of 25, we served an average of 346 families a month. Of that, 752 were adults and 322 were children. A lot of our members are elderly. As of January, we've been averaging about 15 new applications a month. I attended the RGV Food Bank annual meeting in McAllen, which we have to attend to recertify our food pantry. And they mentioned the Feeding of America. I don't know if you realize Feeding America is part of the USAID that's been frozen. So in 2024, Feeding America served 39 million families. They are not sure they're going to hit that mark this year. The RGV food bank is actually running low on food. We've had some weeks where there wasn't anything that we could order, anything that we needed. Last 2 years, we partnered with Bravo Ice to offer turkeys at Thanksgiving. We've been warned that there'll probably be no turkeys this year as well. They're looking for alternative sources to supply food in case that it actually runs dry, which it hasn't yet. They're also looking to include a big increase in food from local produce, but at Baskets Full, we don't have the facility to do a lot of produce. So we don't have any place to keep it over the weeks. So I don't have a crystal ball. Feeding America's had millions of dollars of deliveries already canceled. RGV is part of that. And so we as Baskets Full working on contingencies in case that plays out. But at the present time and for the foreseeable future, we are operating under our normal circumstances. Any questions?
Well, how much are you asking for? What was the amount that we gave last time?
I'm embarrassed that I don't know.
20K.
20K. And so you're saying that maybe, because it would be a whole different ballgame if you guys close shop with money in your account.
Yes, that's what we're working on contingencies for,
So-
whether, how this council would want that
We
reversed
budget-
or
we budget for
forwarded
that
or,
every year. So-
but we're not to that point yet, when we.
No, I'm
if-
saying to avoid issues in the future, let's say that, we do fund y'all.
Mhm.
Maybe we can do it to where we give y'all monthly, quarterly, so that in case something goes, y'all have to close shop, you're not stuck with a situation where,
That's entirely, your purview there.
I don't think anybody has the stomach to stop helping.
Right.
I think it's a worthy cause, and that's why we've done it every year, but we don't want to get in a jam with what's going on right now also,
Right.
so.
I understand. So, like I said, if I had a crystal ball, I could tell you, but, I don't know what's gonna happen from week to week with all this on and off stuff.
So if I may, Commissioners, if anybody wants to make the motion, maybe we can make the motion in a way where it's, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but where we instruct the city manager to get with him and discuss a monthly or
divide it.
quarterly, so that we don't get jammed up into it. And then maybe the total amount would come out to 20,000.
I think that's a great idea that you mentioned, yeah.
The commitment will be there, just
We're
broken
not gonna,
down.
we're not saying
Understand.
no, we're just gonna do
Understand.
it so that
Yeah.
none of us get jammed up.
That's perfectly acceptable for us too.
If somebody wants to make the motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the City of Mercedes contribution for 20,000 to the Baskets Full in quarterly payments.
I'll second that with, along with the verbiage as Commissioner Garcia mentioned.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you for what you're doing, Pastor. I'm real sorry about what y'all are going through, but thank you. Thank you. Moving on to item 9, ordinances, resolution approval of first reading of ordinance 2025-14, amending the construction, placement, and evacuation in right-of-way.
Mayor, if there's no other discussion, I make a motion to approve the first and forego the first reading of ordinance 2025-14.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Garcia, I believe, right? Is that you, Martin? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9B, approval of resolution 2025-14 regarding civil rights for the 2018 South Texas Floods CDBG -DR grant.
Mayor, if there's no other discussion, I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-14.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bids and contract approval of interlocal cooperation agreement with the MVCPA Task Force. Chief,
Chief,
should have a lot to say. It's been pretty successful. Well, not a lot. but Something to say.
keep it minimum,
Keep it minimum.
30 seconds.
Start now. Hello, Mayor, Commission, City Manager. Currently, we have an investigator assigned to the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office Auto Theft Task Force, and it has been working great. We do have an investigator assigned over there, a position that was created. Y'all approved it on the last one. That's what we're here asking for again, is to continue this collaboration with the county. I've noted down the match of what it is on the number. It's been working great. I know that she reports to the sheriff's office, but she does a lot of work here also at the PD. So whenever we have anything regarding auto theft in our city, she automatically responds to it. Well, so it has been working great for us. I can tell you that. According to the supervisor that is assigned to the sheriff's office task force for this, our officer has been doing great. So we want to continue this process going.
Mayor, Honorable Commissioner, I make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement.
Do I have a motion
Second.
by Dr. Howell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those
Thank you.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And I don't know if they've given you the numbers, Chief, because we just got them fresh off the deal. But I think they've already confiscated something like $300,000 worth of vehicles and 400. They've been doing real good. Not money, vehicles.
It's not cash,
Clarify
Not
that to the
cash.
city manager.
to be spent.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Pobrecito. Monthly departmental reports. We have library, planning, recreation center, IT, city secretary, parks, finance, public works, and PD.
Can we keep it to questions only?
Yep. Anybody got any questions? But doctor's not here. That's not fair. Man.
No.
Anybody got anything good? Any heroic stories? All right. Okay, we have I'm gonna cry, man.
It wouldn't be the same without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't read it all, but I have a question.
All right, we have a executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for chapter 551, Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney, section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, section 551.074, personnel matters, section 551.087, economic development. Do I have a motion to adjourn into, motion to go into executive?
Make a motion to go to executive, sir.
I have a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner. In favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7:45 PM. We are in executive session. All right, good evening, and it's 8:32 p.m. We are back in regular session. We had items 12 and 13. We have no action on any item. Next one is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It is 8:33 p.m. We are now adjourned.
God bless Mercedes and go Tigers.
Sir.